Hello YouTube, this is Victor for Phone Arena, and today we're taking a look at the Nokia Lumiya 620. The Lumiya 620 is a Windows Phone 8 smartphone for the masses, yet offering additional value in many aspects and different by design. This time again, Nokia is focusing on vibrant colors as a standout feature, and it relies on its own Windows Phone apps like the free Nokia Maps and Drive Navigation and Nokia Music to differentiate. But will this be enough to finally get consumers interested in Windows Phone? And if it does, can it stand its ground in its own Windows Phone backyard, where HTC has conveniently settled with the similar HTC 8S? Let's take a deeper look. The Lumiya 620 is coming in a selection of easily interchangeable matte and gloss shells that you can use to change the color of your device from lime green to orange, magenta, yellow, cyan, white and black. The colors are all bold and bright, cheerful. The casing that engulfs the handset is all plastic, but with a soft touch-like feel, it doesn't look too cheap. The device has got friendly rounded edges, and while it is a bit chubby with its 0.43-inch thick body, it's compact enough not to feel too bulky. Weight comes at the reasonable 4.5 ounces. All of the physical buttons of the device are located on the right side. The volume rocker on top, the lock key in the middle, and the camera shutter button in the bottom. This is a very convenient setup for one-handed operation that doesn't force you into doing unnecessary hand gymnastics to reach the keys. The back also houses a 5-megapixel camera equipped with a single LED flash. The Lumiya 620 features a 3.8-inch clear black LCD display with a 480 by 800 pixel resolution. The smaller size means you can easily operate the phone single-handedly, a luxury those with larger phones cannot afford. Pixel density comes at 246 ppi, which in simple terms means that you get plenty of detail and you won't see any jagged pixels on the screen. With clear black technology for deep blacks and well-saturated colors, and with wide viewing angles, the screen is a pleasure to look at. The only slight niggle are the reflections that show up under direct sunlight and make it a bit hard to use the device on a bright sunny day. The handset is affordable, but still it runs the latest Windows Phone 8 operating system. Microsoft doesn't allow for any modifications to the user interface, so you get the same consistent and smooth experience with the signature live tiles across all phones of all brands. In Windows Phone 8, the tiles come in three sizes: small, which is the new size, and the existing medium and large. With the arrival of small tiles in Windows Phone 8, you really can fit much more in the home panel, so while you'd still end up with a long list of apps, if you have many games, for example, the situation has improved much over previous versions of the platform. The phone performs well throughout with no hiccups at pleasing lag-free speeds. And while Nokia cannot differentiate by changing the looks of Windows Phone 8, it does offer some great added value with signature apps like Nokia Maps and Drive, with free offline satellite navigations, and a great music player with free mixed radio music streaming service. All this comes free, while on other platforms you'd need to pay for using similar services. Adding to that the free Microsoft Office that is baked into all Windows Phone devices, you get a fairly solid app package right out of the box. Basic functionality is also well covered. What makes Windows Phone stand out is the system-wide deep integration of Facebook and Twitter. Following your friends' last social updates is effortless in the People Hub, where both telephony and modern social networking come together. If we had to pick the nits, we'd mention the lack of smart dialing in the contact list as one slight downside. But even with all those advantages Nokia's Lumiya has, we cannot overlook Windows Phone's app situation. Microsoft's operating system brags about having 125,000 apps in its catalog. But the reality of the situation is that many essential apps are missing. Google apps like YouTube and Google Maps are absent. Popular services like cloud storage Dropbox don't have Windows Phone apps, and when it comes to games, Microsoft's platform is way behind Android and iOS. The Lumiya 620 features a fairly solid hardware for its affordable price. With a dual-core Snapdragon S4 Plus processor running at 1 GHz, Adreno 305 graphics, and 512 MB of RAM, performance was buttery smooth throughout. The device comes with 8 GB of internal storage that you can expand via microSD cards by as much as 64 GB. The Windows Phone platform itself is fairly heavy though, taking up nearly 3 GB of space, so you're left with just north of 5 GB of your internal storage for use. And when it comes to connectivity, the Lumia 620 is well equipped with support for 3G with HSPA 21.1 megabits per second, dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 3.0 and GPS. The phone ships with Internet Explorer 10, which is a fairly solid browser. We found it loaded most pages quickly, but often traditional for desktop websites slowed it down. It has the standard pinch and double tap controls to zoom in and out, and both work well. Still, it might be a bit strange at first to have the address bar in the bottom instead of on top, and on some slight downsides, like having no forward button, make us wish the Windows Phone platform offered more choice for browsers. The Lumia 620 features a 5 megapixel rear camera with autofocus and LED flash capable of recording 720p HD videos. There is also a front-facing VGA camera for video calls. Given its affordable price, you shouldn't expect wonders from the 5 megapixel camera, but while it lacks in fine detail and clarity, it delivers with pleasing and true-to-life saturated colors. That is especially true for well-lit scenes where the device performs on par or better than many of its peers. Images also turn out a bit on the soft side. The 5 megapixel camera is challenged by environments requiring ample dynamic range, where there is a stark contrast between objects in the picture, like say a bright sky and darker buildings. The sensor doesn't handle that particularly well. It also has troubles with noise in underlit scenes, but that's all to be expected from a device in this class. The camera experience is helped by a variety of lens effects, things like cinemagraph with animating parts of videos as GIFs, and settings to tweak, including ISO adjustments, scenes, and others for those who want to manually control their shots. The video recorder can brag with such a variety in settings, but the captured footage is definitely decent. Among the limited settings in the camera are white balance and choosing whether or not to have continuous autofocus. With such a good-looking 3.8-inch display, the Lumia 620 has what it takes to entertain you with videos on the road. The phone supports most popular codecs and plays back MPEG-4, H.264 and WMV files at 720p with ease. The built-in music and video hub conveniently stores a history of the content you've seen and heard. Nokia Music is one application that we really love having with its free mixed radio streaming service. It does pretty much what paid services like Rdio and Pandora do on other platforms, and it's a perfect tool for music discovery. We had fun playing songs from playlists offered, plus you can build your own playlists based on as many as 3 artists you mention. You can even cache playlists for offline listening. The only downside is that you can only skip not more than 6 songs each hour. Overall, the music experience on the Lumia 620 is very rich and visual. You get a full-screen background image of the artist and the music player, and in mixed radio you can also see a biography and additional information, which we appreciate. The loudspeaker on the back is really loud, which we also appreciate, but sound gets a bit tinny when you crank it up. The speaker is also strangely positioned in the bottom, where usually you hold your hand and can easily accidentally muffle it. With a dual mic setup, the handset has noise cancellation and clears up side noises for an overall pleasing sound quality in calls. Our callers easily recognize the tone of our voice, and the only slight complaint was that sounds from the microphone on the Lumia 620 came out a bit tinny. On our side of the line, the earpiece performed well, voices were loud and clear. Seeing that the Lumia 620 has a paltry 1300 mAh battery, we set our expectations for the battery life low. To test it, we looped a series of videos for 1 hour at medium brightness, starting with a fully charged battery. Push notifications were all active in the background, and after an hour, the battery was drained by 17%. If we interpolate this number, the Lumia 620 should be able to play around 5.8 hours of video non-stop, which is a fairly good achievement. The Nokia Lumiya 620 is a great effort by the Finnish company. It has a standout design that will appeal to many, especially the young, a good camera for its class supporting 720p HD video capture, and it runs on the now more mature Windows Phone 8. We don't have any major complaints about the phone, and that alone is telling. However, as much as we like Nokia's effort in the Lumiya 620, it faces competition from some equally capable devices. Even in Nokia's own Windows Phone backyard, HTC was the first to introduce the Windows Phone 8S, a very similar device at the same price that has a well-groomed and thinner body but lacks a front-facing camera. And in Android land, there are the similarly priced Samsung Galaxy S3 Mini featuring the easily recognizable bevel design and larger screen, and the HTC One V with virtually identical specs but outfitted in the typical industrial HTC looks. Both of them have the rock-solid Android ecosystem as a backbone. At this point, it's a matter of personal preference and measuring up the importance of the ecosystem. If you like Windows Phone's approach with live dials, deeply integrated social networking, and built-in Office, Nokia adds even more value to that with its own apps in a well-built device. You wouldn't regret buying the Lumia 620 in this case. If you care more about the apps and games though, Android is still much richer. So which one would you take? The red pill or the blue pill?